All right, let's dive right in. We're talking about a massive shift in broadcast engineering. I mean, a true revolution. We're looking at how the modern studio is basically turning into an IT data center. Think about that for a second, swapping out all those specialized video cables for the same kind of computer networks that run our offices. And just so you know, what we're covering today is part 12 of a big 40-part series on modern broadcast studios from Virtualization Options LLC. We're zeroing in on all this cool IP-based tech. You know, for decades, this is what the heart of a broadcast studio looked like. A total rat's nest of cables, right? Every single signal, every camera, every mic, every graphics box had to have its very own dedicated physical wire. It was a point-to-point world. And all that cabling had to go to these huge, specialized routers. It was just rigid, super expensive, and an absolute nightmare to change or scale up.
So what if you could just get rid of all that? I mean, just toss it out. What if you could run your entire professional studio on the same kind of network that powers your office? We're talking dozens of 4K video streams, hundreds of audio channels, all flying down the same kind of flexible, scalable network you'd find in a data center. Now that is the incredible promise of IP broadcast.
Okay, so to really get why this is such a huge deal, we've got to take a quick look back at the old way of doing things, the point-to-point world.
And that world was built on something called SDI, or Serial Digital Interface. I mean, SDI has been the undisputed workhorse of the industry for ages. It's a super reliable way to send uncompressed video and audio over a single coax cable. It just works. But, and it's a big but, it's got some pretty serious limitations.
Yeah, here's what that SDI reality actually looks like. Everything is a fixed point-to-point connection. So let's say you want to send camera 3 to a different monitor. Well, you can't just click a button. You've got to physically route it through this massive, proprietary, and expensive router. Want to add a few more cameras? Get ready to run a bunch of new cables and just cross your fingers that your router has enough ports left. It's a ton of physical work, and it's just not flexible at all.
All right, but now, here comes the network revolution. The very same ideas that power the internet, that run every modern IT department have finally arrived in the broadcast studio. And believe me, it's a total game changer.
And this really breaks it down, right? On one side, you have the old way, SDI. That's point-to-point, proprietary hardware, totally rigid. One signal, one cable. On the other side, you have the new way, IP. It's any-to-any. You can use standard, off-the-shelf IT gear, it's flexible, it's scalable, and the big one, you can have many signals all on a single network. It's a fundamentally different way of thinking.
And here's what that looks like in the real world. The nerve center of the modern studio, it doesn't look like a broadcast facility anymore. It looks exactly like a data center. Those walls of specialized video routers are gone, replaced by racks of network switches and servers. This also means the skills you need have changed, moving from broadcast hardware gurus to hardcore network engineers. Okay, so how does this magic actually work? How do you take a broadcast signal and make it play nice on a network? Well, it all comes down to a really clever new standard that basically unbundles everything. It sets all the signals free. The standard is called SMPTE ST2110, and here's the core idea. You know how an old SDI signal has video, audio, and data all bundled together in one big chunk? Well, ST2110 breaks all of that apart into its fundamental pieces, what the standard calls essences. So your video becomes one stream, your audio becomes another, and your data becomes yet another. They all become independent streams on the network. We call this the Great Unbundling. A traditional signal is, well, a bundle. ST2110 just completely deconstructs it. So think about this. Your main video feed, your English audio track, your Spanish audio track, your closed captions, they are all now separate, independent streams. What does that mean? It means you can send just the Spanish audio somewhere completely different without having to touch the video or anything else. The level of flexibility is just, wow. It's something we've never had before. And the standard itself is broken into different parts for each of these key essences. So there's ST2110-20 for uncompressed video, -30 for audio, and -40 for all that ancillary data, like captions and timecode. The key takeaway? Each one travels the network freely and can be managed all on its own. But you knew there was a but, right? All this amazing flexibility doesn't come for free. Running uncompressed broadcast video over a regular IP network, well, it puts some pretty insane demands on that network. We're not talking about your office email server here. This is engineering at the absolute extreme. Okay, get this. A single, uncompressed 4K video stream needs a constant 12 gigabits per second of bandwidth. Just one.
So if you have a pretty normal production with, say, 10 4K cameras, you've just completely maxed out a 100 gigabit network backbone. The sheer amount of data is staggering.
And unlike browsing the web, there is absolutely zero room for error. You know, in a normal IT network, if a little data packet gets lost, it's no big deal. The system just resends it. But in live broadcasts, you can't resend a frame of video that's already gone. Even a tiny amount of packet loss, like 0.01%, which is an almost perfect network, will show up as a nasty glitch on screen. The network has to be perfect.
And then there's the timing. This is maybe the craziest part. Every single piece of gear in the studio, every camera, switcher, monitor, you name it, they all have to be perfectly in sync. And when I say perfectly, I mean with a precision of less than 1 microsecond. That's 1/1,000,000th of a second. So how in the world do you pull that off on a network that by its very nature sends data in little packets that can arrive at slightly different times?
Well, that question brings us to the absolute hero of this entire story, the one piece of technology that makes all of this possible. It's the studio's heartbeat, the perfect timing mechanism.
The answer is PTP, the Precision Time Protocol, which is standardized as SMPT-ST 2059. PTP is the magic that solves that seemingly impossible timing problem. What it does is it sends out a hyper-accurate clock signal, usually locked to GPS for perfect time, to every single device on the network. This makes sure that everyone, and I mean everyone, is sharing one single ultra-precise clock.
And let me be crystal clear about this. PTP is not a nice-to-have. It's not optional. It is the absolute bedrock of a working IP studio. Without it, you'd have total chaos. Video frames wouldn't line up, you'd get clicks and pops in your audio, the whole system would just fall apart. It really is like the universal clock that keeps the entire orchestra playing in perfect time.
Okay, one last piece to the puzzle. You've got all these signals flying around as data streams. How do you control it all? How do you tell this stream to go to that device? That's where NMOS comes in. Think of it like a universal remote for the whole network. It's a set of open standards, meaning devices from different manufacturers can all talk to each other, discover each other automatically, and make connections. It's what makes the whole thing interoperable. Which brings us right back to the main point of all this. The broadcast studio has fundamentally converged with the IT data center. The tech, the skills, the whole infrastructure, it's not a separate, specialized world anymore. It's all become part of the larger world of high-performance IT. And this revolution is just getting started. It opens the door to so many incredible possibilities. So I'll just leave you with this to chew on. If a studio's capabilities are no longer defined by physical wires but by software and networks, what comes next? What does the future of media creation even look like?